and shine. It's your morning marijuana motivation time. Your hostess with the mostest, Marky Saint. And every morning I get up and I am blessed. I am blessed to be alive and being able to continually reach, preach, and teach to people. I have been patiently waiting for it to get quiet. Here, there is so much noise from people, neighbors, to loud music, to dogs barking, to trucks and ATVs. So literally it's the first time I've been able to hear the birds chirp. And yesterday I realized because I had my headphones in that I wasn't speaking loud enough, right? And you hear the music blasting in the background, but I needed to speak loud enough so people could understand what was happening yesterday. I tried to recreate what depth I reached yesterday being in deep meditation. I've never felt anything like this before in my life. It was extremely special to me. I had so many thoughts to be clear without outside influences like people yelling or the grinder and the neighbors next door. In fact, the grinder made it so much more clear because I realized that it was external, that it was all external noise, external data, external stimulus, people trying to get attention by being loud or obnoxious. And I was being centered and calm. And it was something that was really profound to me. I turned off the fan so I could be even quieter, and I sat with my headphones disconnected from the phone so that way I could be heard or just hear myself. It really helped by plugging my ears that I could hear myself and almost hear my own heartbeat. And I was so in tune with what was going on yesterday. I felt so connected. I'm not even joking in this moment or using that facetious term. I'm not even joking as such a simplex. There's the dogs again with the howling. You can hear the puppies howling. I was waiting for that to stop and now it's back again. But outside of that door was me inside of my body. And that's something that was so huge to me, being able to um, clear myself of judgment and fear and outside circumstances. There's so much of us that we process stimulus so differently. We live in a world full of stimulus. We throw the phone in our hands, and for one morning I woke up without a phone in my hand. I didn't even wake up to see what time it was or what day it was or what my messages were. I existed in this realm of now, and the realm of now was so vast. It was separating things categorically. Like I was separating, that was my past and that I cannot change, and these are future thoughts, and this hasn't happened yet, and I'm breathing now, I'm feeling the breeze now. It was almost like the breeze was helping me breathe. Literally, it was like as I was inhaling, a big gust of wind would come through, and as I was exhaling, a big wind of gust would come through, and I was totally immersed in this realm. I don't know how to call it, but like a black stage, but without borders. It wasn't like there was a stage that would drop off and there was an audience behind it. It wasn't like I had these kind of circumstances. I was in my own mind, literally a abyss or an orb, a black orb of nothingness. And I know people try to do this, and I've been trying my whole life, and I like to try because it's not like I sit here and meditate. But this morning it was so good, I tried to do it again, and it was difficult to recreate. Again, these dogs are going fucking ape shit. I wish we would shut up, but I live in Brazil right now. I'm alive in Brazil, I should say, in Brazil, where I have so much distraction in my life that it was so important for me to block it all out. I wanted the shine in, but not the drama. And I know most people know what I'm talking about, where we want to feel whole, right? We want to feel actually feel, the stimulus of our lives. I was literally rubbing the sheets, these clean sheets on my skin, and it's like, wow, that's an amazing sensation. Just clean, soft sheets to the skin really ignited my senses. and also not letting my senses take over. It wasn't like my eyes were closed, which was tremendous for me to keep this. I guess that's the reason of the black abyss, but without absorbing lights and sounds and colors, all these things get my brain to go to another direction. I literally waited for those dogs to stop barking, and yet here they are still whining, still barking, and you can even hear a neigh from a horse. Literally, I have horses and bulls and donkeys outside my door right now. I don't know if you know, but I basically got the whole zoo out there. And as these guys are full of drama, I was full of centeredness. I was so in tune with who I was for the first time. It was like, I have no fear. I know abundance is always with me. I know that my spirit was always with me. And I was in tune with this conversation with myself. That's why I said I was talking to myself for the first time. And it wasn't a talk where, oh, I got to get that done, or what's the drama, or problem solving techniques that I'm always in my head doing. No, for the first time, I was centered. And it's so important. I never had this experience before. And it shocked me. It really gave me an aha moment. It became one of my best shows ever, even though it was hard for me to hear. And when I replayed the audio back, obviously the headphones made me more in tune and quieter, and I'm usually a loud person, a person that likes to talk, a person that likes to get my energy up, and I'm high energy. But this wasn't required. I wasn't required to be on stage anymore. I wasn't required to ignite or excite people. This power was my own. I kept feeling myself and what I am and who I am, my strengths of being a human, like the ability to live life and be alive, was such an amazing feeling, like this interconnectedness that we all have, this brilliance of life. I'm talking about children on dad's shoulders, or absorbing like just the flowers that were outside, and the puppies that are newborn over here. These things rang true to me. It was so real. It was so visceral. I can't tell you how hard I tried, or can't explain it because it was happening to me, but I tried to recreate it this morning sitting in meditation, deep breaths in my diaphragm, deep breaths through my nose, through my lungs, being one with myself. And I am irritated by this noise here, but it was easier when I had these in here. Now, it wasn't plugged in on my phone, but I was different, letting just me, the voices with me. And as I started to lose consciousness, I could hear my own voice easier this way. I could talk without distraction. I realized that these things that were coming into my eardrum are now blocked, and my words reverberating inside of my skull, and hear myself speak. I can talk to myself. And that's something that's huge. I don't know how many of us actually do this, but talking to ourselves where we can hear ourselves, truly hear ourselves. Not the rapid thoughts or the anxiety or the fear, but a real thought. It wasn't about concentrating on my breath. It wasn't about my posture. These things make my legs go to sleep sitting in lotus position. So I don't like sitting on the ground. I tell people all the time it makes my legs go to sleep. I can't even eat sitting. But it was something that really churned me into a different human being. It really helped me to hear my own voice. And when I started to lose my concentration, I even talked to myself a little more. Said, this is what's happening now, this is who I am, and this is what I want to get into my brain, what I wanted to get into my soul. And this is something that is really, for wordsmith, it's hard to explain, and it's even harder to duplicate, especially when you're making yourself self-aware. the self-talk, the what am I saying to myself, and not the ignorance of people that have no bliss, they have no centeredness, they're in the other world. There was this things that felt like this other world was out there, where these people, counting money, counting their weight, counting their blessings, instead of just being blessed and being centered and in harmony with the environment. These dogs are obviously out of harmony, and the ones, sweeping and slapping, they're just going through the rigmarole of life, right? Like, how many times have you remembered sweeping? You're like, that's something that doesn't make it to your memory box. But that moment yesterday was definitely making it to my memory box. I've never done that before. I've never experienced this on that level. And it was so true to me that I had to talk about it again. Normally, I have different subjects in the morning, marijuana, motivation, but it was so intense that I got to view myself and actually sit myself down and talk to myself. And it was like, this is who you are. This is who I am. And I want you to have these conversations with yourself too. It's like, who am I? What are my life purposes? These are deeper, deeper, deeper thoughts of who I was, or who I am. I say was because it was yesterday, but who I am now. And as I've been shaping my body, it's easier to lose the weight than it is to change your mindset. A mindset's everything. It's for athletes, it's for normal people, it's for leaders, for us to say, hey, I have a positive outset, everything's awesome, hunky dory. And then, rock the boat moments happen, and we go, where are we at? We're in those moments. Who are we when the chips go down? And it might be easier for somebody to call somebody like the president's calling Tony Robbins, or making a phone call to outer sources. These dogs are fucking driving me nuts, dude. They haven't stopped, and I almost want to beat a dog. Um, Life isn't perfect, uh, but that moment was extremely perfect for me. It was something so profound, so in depth, that I didn't want to let the moment go. I didn't want to let go of the awesome conversation I was having. It was something I had never done before. It was like, wow, I can come here to this black stage, this nothingness, and exist and be myself, and let uh, the worry go aside and the fears go to a side, and have conversation of centered conversation with myself, and go, I am alive. And I was reaching for things, almost like a virtual reality game, because everything was blacked out, and I was feeling my breath, how important it was. Thank you for that breeze. And how human I am. Like, this thing called life is so special. Us as humans, we get to process this stuff. I'm not sure if the dogs are processing it, but us as humans in this universe, vast universe of atoms and life, and how connected it is and how loved it is. That was profound for me to feel love on that level, that people weren't just giving me money, they were supporting me. They were believing in my shine, or what I consider my shine. I always personalized it. I don't know what the fuck they're doing to that poor little dog, but I need it to stop. It's one of those things that makes me want to go down the street and get distracted from it. It makes me want to get involved with it, even though it's not a part of my show. And I waited for it to stop. Finally, it stopped just now. And now it's still whining. But I, as a person, a human on this planet, was loved. The ability to be loved by my mom and other people, and the way love feels and is given. It was so tremendous to me. I just was baffled by it. I don't know why I have an inability to let the intimacy touch me so much. Maybe I was overwhelmed, like the feeling of being overwhelmed by someone to truly love me, and to have coexistence with another human being, and my fear of intimacy, like being touched. I'll let the sheets touch me, and ooh, that feels so good. But remembering how good it feels to be touched when someone loves you. As simple as someone's hand on your shoulder. And, like hugs, real hugs, and intimacy. And as I let that stuff go, I realized more women started touching me, and I was okay with it. I was okay with the occasional elbow touching, the occasional hand touching, you know, um, following someone else and trusting them instead of dominating the situation. Go, no, I think this way. Let me switch it, make it the Mark show, and allowing people to love me and to be loved. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. I had an amazing dinner with a beautiful soul and being, and it was beyond romantic. It was platonic, but it was love. You know, I was getting bit by mosquitoes, and she went out of her way to go get the fan so it would blow the mosquitoes off of me. You know, it's a little intimate things. It's like, here, let me stop that irritation in your life. Let me heal you where you're hurting the most. And that's an amazing ability. That's something that we don't do that often. We to heal them, and that was shocking to me. That I was sitting there in this moment that I was healing myself. I was healing myself from myself. Myself seems to be self-damaging. Last week I went on a bender, cocaine bender, blacked out. I don't remember anything. Lost my cell phone. This is my extra phone, and I've been bummed out about it. More than the loss of the phone was the loss of the connectivity and all the data and all these other things. But what I put price on, what I was really talking about was that I was grateful that I wasn't kidnapped and murdered. And this might sound shocking to me. And I left America because of a murder. My other friend got shot, tat, 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 some kind of heroin drug deal that he was in the car with the girl, and the girl was doing the deal, and it went bad, and the guy shot up the car and killed them. Took their life, this force, our spirit, our shine away from him. And it scared me, that I lost another person. Now I'm fellow smokers, and he's no longer with us. And when friends were talking to me in Portuguese, you could see in their face, did you hear? And I'm like, I know of what you're speaking. I know the spirit that we are talking about, this missing spirit, this missing person that's no longer with us, that was with us last week, is no longer here. How important is my cell phone now? That you could just die. Like, I think about people drowning on boats, trying to reach the new lands or new world. And all this expectation. It doesn't matter if it's gold on this ship. A ship will sink, and it will sink with its passengers and crew. And how sad this is, this loss of life. I'm talking about a loss of cell phone. This was a loss of life. So in my head, I'm balancing deeper within of like what's truly important and loving myself, not below, within. And it was so intense because I haven't hugged myself and told myself that I loved myself in so long. I love me, I love this body, and like appreciate it and look at it and feel it and exercise it and heal it and give it the nutrients that it deserves and that I deserve, and the sunshine and the food and the people. Like, that kind of love was so much more intimate than I had been giving myself. I was blocking it. I was getting fat, growing a beard, doing celibacy things, and now I'm on the complete opposite, where I want love. I deserve love. I feel love. I'm being loved, and I'm loving myself. I'm loving myself enough to not do cocaine benders anymore, to not absorb myself in the same patterns, to break up the monotony and absorb the fact that I'm in Brazil. I have blue walls. Normally I'm surrounded by some sort of white wall situation, a prison situation, and that I'm not in prison. And how when I was in prison, the things that I wanted the most were fresh air, freedom, open doors and just go for a walk. These freedoms that I took for granted, to choose the food that I want to eat. I get all excited about my next meal. It's going to heal me. And get grateful that I can just walk, just or making it a financial gain. This is something that was tremendous to me. Most of us are like, okay, push yourself earlier in the morning so you can go make more money or get a competitive advantage or push my body harder. All these things were external, right? Like push ups or push out my anxiety versus not identifying it and letting it go. Like, that's old, dude. That's in the past. Like, this isn't changing anything. The best thing I can do is harness my chi now and be who I am now, and I'm being alive now. And that was something that's like, it's not about them or who perceives me to be sexy or who perceives me to be cool or who perceives me to be useful. These fucking dogs just haven't stopped yet. My lord. External. It's all external, and it's loud and it gets your attention, but internally, what captures my attention? And I was there, blocked from the outside world of just being, I want to say me, but just being, being a being. I don't know how else to explain that. Like being an entity of the world that has the chance to see sight and breathe air and feel sun. It wasn't about my bank account. I say this all the time when I had my accident, because obviously I was about to die that day. But when you're about to die, you don't care about your bank account. All that effort and being pretty doesn't matter, or what your clothes wear, or how cool you are. Out the fucking window. It was about me. That breeze. Me being the best me I can be by just being. Being alive is an amazing experience. Don't treat it with such creativity. Expect days to come. And like I said, other people, they don't have days. They don't have the opportunity to listen to their music or play with their phone or even lose their phone. The game's over. And when the game was going, I'm sitting here going like, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing that we can dial ourselves in, that we can absorb energies and information, and yet um, be self-aware. That's something that was starting to happen to me. I was becoming self-aware. I was aware of my hips moving and like losing like the flow into my legs. This is something I wouldn't have normally done when I'm trying to meditate. I would have tried to control it and go sit still, Mark, and concentrate on your breathing and no thoughts and what I thought was meditation. But this was real meditation. I was in the zone. I was touching information and reaching it like Minority Report and citing it away when it didn't matter. Shut the fuck up, dog. Just being there. There. In the moment, like, wow, this is my life. How amazing that I've been blessed to come on this planet that holds gravity and pulls waves and allows people to surf them. And I was like, wow, this is a bunch of energy, and I'm energy. And the energy that flows through me, whether it be the nutrients and food that I eat, or the thoughts and the data that I process, or the thoughts that I held for the future and the past. As a business owner, it's like almost obsessive. I'm obsessed about my business. People are, you thinking about business again, aren't you? It's like, it's true. Not gonna lie. I was thinking about business in that moment. And I think about like designs and how to be successful and how to unlock it and how much money that'll give me and how awesome everything will be. I can buy my friends drinks and I can travel more and eat more of the foods that I love. I don't know what they're doing to this fucking dog, but I need it to stop. Thank you. And then that's what was happening. I was living in a new world, a world where I wasn't controlled by data. It was like gas, me, listen, me, and numbers and crunch. And there was this analog world out there where there are people that are worried about things, that do live in that. Well, as long as they think I'm pretty, I'm winning. I'm prettier than her, or I have more money than him. This kind of world, there's people that live in that. Like, these are facts, Mark. You're not living in the world I am. I'm living in. I'm like, you're right. I'm not. I have friends calling me like, I can't believe we're on the same planet. And I'm in this planet where I'm seeing the longest shooting stars I've ever seen in my life. And that I'm regularly on a beach somewhere around this planet that's warm with warm water and new friends and new experiences. And I keep pushing deeper into these worlds, deeper into myself, right? Like this examination of self, human self. Like I want to unlock it. I want to figure it out, this Rubik's cube, and then tell people about it and go, look, you can find yourself. It's hard to uh, find yourself. That's a good shirt, but more importantly is accomplishing it. How do we do that and sustain it? How do we truly know who we are as a being, a being in our family, a being in our friendship, and a being as a lover, and an entity as a person? And that was something that was just wowing me. And I wanted to talk about it for another 30 minutes today, clearer, louder, right? Because it was on in my headphones, and I tried to play back the audio, so I'd have to put the headphones in and turn up the volume to really hear what I was saying, and even then it was harder to hear. But digesting it or redigesting it today, it didn't happen again today, but that profound moment is still there for me. Like there's this place in my mind that I can go and just be, and maybe it was the weed, it was like, wow, what's in this weed? This was amazing, and try to recreate it. And it was just high enough to black out all of the external bullshit and get into my internal real shit, the real of who I am, and as a human, and a person, and an entity, and why I hold so obtusely to other things and not be so free in the other. So freely over obtusely, um, being there to go. When I was in prison, this mattered the most to me. Some fresh air, not smelling stinky ass, and clothes and confinedness. Now I have the breeze coming off the ocean, and it's amazing. I just love the way it smells. And then the external would be the emissions, and we shouldn't be pumping our into our environment. We're killing our environment, and in essence killing ourselves, because we believe in these externals. We're competition for this externalness when we're in oneness. And that was an aha moment for me, where it's like, oh my god, there are people all around me that are loved by someone. Someone had loved you enough to give you, your little infant, little baby self, nutrients to welcome you to the world. And people conglomerated around your birth, and they'll conglomerate around your death. We're that much energy. And it was shocking to really view it is energy and atoms and nutrients, and the building blocks, the cellulose. I can see it in the leaves, and we can see life in the leaves. We can see life in the puppies. We can see life just in all around us when we focus on it. But it's when we are out of focus and not in tune, these things don't become one. And that's something I found yesterday, was oneness. Whereas, like, I'm not my external anymore. I'm not the perception of other people's. It's not up. Well, they're gonna do what they're going to do. It's important what I do with my energy, my thoughts, and my actions. And this is something that's profound for me. So I'm not gonna take up any more time explaining this. Has been almost, my 30 minutes is up. But I wanted you to reach deeper inside yourself, quiet enough for all humans, whoever needs it, that we are alive, and we are a part of a system of life.